Oh no, you already know when the juice is flowing. I like to get straight into it.
Ice.
Go ahead. Everybody, refill your libations and all of that because I want to.
Put the video on stop.
I want to pose a question to everybody here. James, once again, definitely thank you for your insight and your knowledge, and that beautiful display of Black fatherhood. That was a beautiful display of Black fatherhood in all seriousness, and it is a testament of the things that we need to do as a culture to move ourselves forward. In terms of basic knowledge of finance. You've taken it beyond that because now your daughter understands something that adults who work in finance may not even know. You got people that work in banks their whole lives that don't know nothing about the Forex market, and your child knows basic concepts that are connected with it, which is a testament to just financial literacy as a whole, and the change and possibilities that can come from it. So I appreciate you for putting that on display, and I appreciate you for your knowledge.
Man, can you imagine if some ignorant dude try to come to the door with empty elephant ear pockets and nothing in his brain? Trying to talk to young Miss Bassett.
Look, soon as she get to middle school or high school and the dude say anything, she be like, "Where your pips at, nigga?" And she
I'm talking about the hill that brother gonna have to climb.
You ain't got no pips, and I ain't talking Gladys Knight. I want to know where your pips at.
I'm talking about prepare these sisters to hey. I ain't accepting just anything that walks through the door. You're gonna have to bring something to the table because the table that I got already look nice.
And I think that right there, what you just said, Doc, really just plays into the whole thing of, as we educate ourselves, the less likely we are as a culture and as a people to be duped in a sense. Yes. To where can't nobody sell us fool's gold.
Right.
Because we are educated and literate of the whole thing.
Right.
Can't nobody come to James' daughter with no fly-by-night get-rich-quick scheme because she knows already tools and things in place to get rich on her own. And that's that speaks to the whole truth of what we want to do, what we aim to do as as a group, as a unit is financial literacy. Number one is this key. It's a broad topic, but we can condense it to giving everybody a sense of comfort, confidence, and I'll make up a word. I think concisity. I don't know if that's a word, but I don't know if it's a word, but we're gonna go with it. But just basically making sure everybody comfort. That's another one. It's just making sure everybody's at a comfort level and a cognitive level of understanding. Okay, these are basic things that I can use to attain wealth on my own. So that when somebody else steps into the picture and wants to say, "Hey, I got this, and this going," blah 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 blah, you already have the knowledge to say, "Okay, these are the questions that I need to ask." Because
AJ,
what? Go ahead,
AJ. So here's the thing. I think that we oftentimes get wrapped up in rich and wealth, and we equate those things like there's some type of equivalent nature to it. Rich and wealthy are different. Rich can be gone tomorrow. Wealth is hard to evaporate, and I think you touched on it in the previous segment where it's like, hey, we have provisions in place to prevent you from screwing this up, or since we're in the after show, fucking this up, right? So
there you
go. At the end of the day, what we're talking about is the bandwidth or the opportunity that you have to make mistakes. Wealth allows mistakes to be made. Rich can't afford mistakes. And I think
rich is temporary. Wealth is everlasting in a sense.
It's established in that way.
Anything up.
Of course, but and I think in the context of regular everyday working class, middle class people, rich is I went to the 7-Eleven or the corner store, I bought a lottery ticket and I hit $400,000. I'm rich.
Well, it becomes the goal.
Right.
That's the problem. Rich becomes the goal. Like rich is not the goal. It's what I think be rich.
I think the conversation and the intent of the word rich needs to be placed in the context of temporary, because rich is very, very temporary. Especially, especially in the context of, in the context of, true financial, finance and financial independence, financial freedom. Rich is very temporary.
Yeah. I mean, the market.
You can sign a contract today, get a signing bonus and all that stuff, and you're rich.
I think what you alluding to is how income oriented we are as Black folks, right?
Right. Rich.
Rich is more of an income oriented term.
Right.
I can afford this house. I can afford this car. I can afford these things. And almost always when we're talking about affording things that we like to be able to use, we're talking about income, and we're income oriented. And you see this even among Black folks who are retired. They talk about getting money from the mailbox, but it's all about receiving a check. It's not about building wealth over time. And so anytime, whether it's James talking about doing something in Forex and building up a balance that you've traded to accumulate over time, or investing in mutual funds and doing so over a long period of time, or anything where it's about building money over time, these are newer, at least in terms of sort of broad-based ways in which we at the family unit tend to think about money. These are new things. Typically, if you talk about a good job, Black folks are behind you. When you start talking about a new business, and certainly when you start talking about quitting a good job,
bro,
you want to make a Black person mad. You want to make an old Black person mad. Talk about quitting a good paying job.
A good job. You
got to try to start your own business.
But Doc, I definitely that you make a great point, and this is a conversation I have a lot often with with my circle of people.
Mm-hmm.
Is there has to always be, especially in the talks of any kind of education or knowledge giving or learning, is context. Context is very key, because we always have to understand that, all of us here are in a certain age bracket. I'll go out on a limb and say that, even if you in your 40s and late 40s, you still within that 30 to 40, range, to where we're within 10 years of each other. But most of us come from a stock of where our grandparents worked, and I'll say grandparents first, where our grandparents worked jobs where pensions were a thing. Right. And so we come from a lineage and a thought process that was the basis. Get you a good city paying job, get you a good civic job, get you a good job working at the paper mill, working for the city, working for some entity that has a pension, which, that was the thing to do back then. Whereas our parents were a little bit removed from that, but they came from that lineage. So they inherited that knowledge of, let me go get a job and work that job and retire from that job. That job may not have a pension, but they may have, a 401k. So let me work this job until I'm of retiring age and then do it. We are coming from that same mindset, but we are also tying into that a knowledge base where we're learning and we're gaining knowledge at a rapid pace, to where we understand the concept of, you ain't got to work that job for 40 years to retire comfortable and get yourself an RV and travel the country, or buy yourself a sailboat and sail the world with your wife. We're starting to learn and understand that, pensions, number one, are a thing of the past.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, we're also understanding that Social Security ain't shit and ain't gonna be shit by the time that we die or get to that age.
It never really been shit, but all right.
Hey, look.
I mean, it's something, but it ain't never really.
Exactly.
It ain't no living.
You got to understand, Doc, you always got to understand, because you rich. There are people out here who live with something's better than nothing. So
Hey,
we have,
and you know what? Because I don't want to ever disparage somebody because they use it. They living primarily off of Social Security. You do the best you can with what it is that you got. Exactly. My deal is to make sure we got more to make decisions with. So now the decisions that I make can be better decisions, and at the end I can end up with more. And so people are like, oh, because I get this all the time. Like, you're an entertaining, electrifying speaker. We have a good time listening to you. And I have this, and a lot of times it comes from Black folks. Why are you focused on trying to center Black people? And my deal is, hey, you only deliver things that you deliver well. And I feel like I season my chicken the way I season it because I was raised to season it that way. I speak the way that I speak. I grew up in church. This is what I do. It is important to me to make sure that my Black folks, I'm the first Black PhD in financial planning. It's a thing. I am responsible to make sure that I am serving up stuff the way that we like to eat it. Now, if you like it too good, there's a lot of white folks that come to nice soul food restaurants and we got all kinds of high-end Black stuff. I want to be the absolute best at delivering financial planning information and making young financial planners in my collegiate programs. And working with clients when I work with them and delivering presentations when I deliver them. But I want Black folks to know that they are deserving of the best, right? So that's why it's important for me to let them know that, yes, I care about Black folks receiving this message from me. And whether you call me rich or not, I'm still working at it the same way we all are to get ahead to make a better future for my daughter and her kids and our kids and all the rest of them after that. Right? Because of the fact that we have been intentionally excluded, then I am going to make sure that I pay extra attention to make sure that you know that with me, you are included. That doesn't mean that other folks in Destrian said it great. You're not excluded from the BREADren. Everybody can eat bread. It ain't like dairy, where it's, some folks can't really process it well. We can all have that bread. And so, hey, if you like it the way we serve it, then come on in. But we are serving it to make sure that these hungry folks out there who need what it is that we bring to bear are able to get it in a seasoned right form so they like the way it tastes.
But real quick, DJ. Go ahead, DJ. Go ahead. No, go ahead. All right. Okay. No, I was just gonna say, that point that Doc made was very important. Is and it incorporates everything that we talk about. Is I jokingly call Doc rich, but Doc has the tools in place to manage his richness, his wealth, and in that sense, to whereas, like we said earlier, when Ken asked the question of, where do I start? And we made sure to point out that, make sure that your overall household is in order financially, because otherwise you can go hit it big in your investment and you're going to end up spending your profits on debt because you didn't take care of certain things ahead of time. And that's one of the things that, when we talk about a person like Doc and we talk about, everybody, DJ, James, where you all are, we look at you as successful individuals, is that things were in place in order for you to reap the rewards of your success and your well-doings. Whereas, if it wasn't, the only thing that you could offer to people is, hey, I fucked up. Here's where I fucked up at. Right. But now you are able to offer people, here's my fuck ups and here's my triumphs in the same book. I can, because oftentimes when we see people that get rich, we see them balling.
Right.
But we don't see them when the balling stops.
Mm-hmm. Or the process of getting there, right?
Exactly. So, no, I'm just talking in the sense of, the get rich quickers. I went and because and something that my dad is, I use this term loosely. He's an avid gambler, but he's strategic about it. He figured out.
He's an investor.
He figured out the proper ways of gambling to where he obviously I'm from Alabama, so Alabama doesn't have any kind of gambling. So he would, go to Georgia, get by the scratch offs, and every now and again he goes to Biloxi and goes to casinos, and he would win. My dad did great. Like I remember times, and I wake up on a Saturday morning and it's $200-300 cash on my dresser because my daddy hit big. And he blessing everybody in the house. So, but it's, religiously and spiritually, you got to be good stewards of what you're blessed with.
That's right.
But also I attest to my father of being the one who, I thought you just walk in a casino, play some money, you win, and you just walk out. But he understood the taxes and all of that stuff and being from out of state. So every year he would get the state of Mississippi to send him his spendings in gambling because it was being tracked. Exactly. And so he would put that on his taxes. I won this much. I spent this much. But so he would never. Exactly. And those exactly. That's also true to put out there that my father's been a business owner my entire life. My father's been an entrepreneur as well as somebody who worked a 9 to 5. So, but these are the things that This is one of the places where I acknowledge my privilege, where I grew up in a household where I saw these things in place. And I understand that a lot of my peers, a lot of my friends, my true friends, were not blessed with this privilege of growing up in a household where someone, mainly your father, owned their own business. So I understand that I put that out there. But real quick, Destrin, before I pass you, I just want to put out some.
I gotta have it, man. I gotta have it. Come on,
DJ. I'm giving it to you as soon as I spit these words of poetry of black excellence. Okay,
is it from Pastor Troy?
No, it's not from Pastor Troy. This is true black poetry. It's from one of the greats. Where
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you froze on mine. You was getting ready to say something. I know it was gonna be.
I know it's gonna be dope.
It was. I was like, I don't know what it was gonna be. I didn't know whether it was Iceberg Slim or James Baldwin. Either one, though.
It was definitely Iceberg Slim.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Iceberg Slim. James Baldwin is at the end of the call when he has had the opportunity to reflect on the enormity of his comments.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I think he just dropped off. He'll jump back in. But this is where I kind of wanted to talk to you guys. Like what AJ is saying is important, but I just want to talk about we said a little bit about the mistakes. So we talked about our significant other. One of the largest mistakes I've made with my significant other is thinking that we value money, wealth, and how it's accomplished the same way. Right? And so my ideal, I guess I should say, about that is vastly different from my wife. Now, my wife is not a wasteful person, and she's a good steward of what she gathers and what she creates and what she has, and she's willing to bring it to the table and say, here, this is for us. But our idea of freedom and money is vastly different. Okay, AJ's back. I'll pause.
No. Okay, so since you were going with that, right, Destrin, because I think it's important to recognize we don't all look at things the same way. The great thing that you have when you're paired with a person as a spouse is that y'all get to work together to craft a common vision, to think about what it is that you want. And y'all can put all of those ingredients in that beautiful future gumbo that y'all have out there that you want to put together. And then The other cool thing you have is you have both of you as contributors to it in your own specific, special ways. You are Destrian. When I say that this brother is the most organized brother that when I go to speak with Destrian, this is why I love when I'm at any event he's speaking at. I'm getting text messages as precisely where I need to be, who we're going to be talking to, what things we need to be thinking about, where we need to be at what time. All of it completely laid out. Presentation completely all squared away with all other people. I know I just need to come in and get ready to talk, right? Because that's how organized he is. Yep. I don't know how organized Alicia is, but I can guarantee you that she it's not like it's one of those deals. It's impossible for her to be as organized as you and to look at things in the same way that you do. It's just a gift that you have or that you've cultivated over time. But I can tell you it's an uncommon one, right? And so, and my wife has her gifts that are different than mine. But she's got her things that she wants to accomplish, and they're as important as mine. And so the important thing is for y'all to coalesce around a vision and everybody be able to use the skills that they bring to bear so that all of the things that y'all are trying to do can come to fruition. And so, I got that financial workbook for couples that I'm turning into an app. And that's a part of it, is really giving couples the opportunity to sit there and say, okay, what's my partner's background? What's their strengths? What do they want? And like really learn about one another. And to the extent that y'all know about what it is that each other wants to do and what you all want to accomplish as a couple, y'all can actually work together to do it. And you can use money as a unifying tool towards your future that you've crafted together, rather than it being that thing that which we see so often in terms of what tears people apart in relationships and what lands you in divorce court, right? So it's about it's about looking at, what she wants is just as important as what you want. And I never tell my dad says this, old players, they never tell a woman no. They just say not right now. And I don't say things exactly the way my pop says because he's old school. And sometimes it don't go off. It don't go off. It doesn't come over there.
Old advice.
But the old school got some, they say, like Outkast say, the South got something to say. The old school got something to say, right? Because it's not about, what you talking about don't mean nothing. No. Let's talk about how we're going to get there. And so it might not be this year. The question is when we're going to get to what you want to. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, it don't matter. You know what I mean? And so it's important to recognize, because I want my wife to have everything that she wants. It's just a question. It's just a question of
I just
what cost and, making sure we have everything else, right too. Right. And so we all respect these things that we bring to the table.
Man.
I just want to address real quick, because I know I cut off in the middle of I cut off in my bad. I just want to address, because I cut off in the middle of that rendition of Elevators by Outkast.
Yeah,
that is the Andre 3 Stacks version. That was 3 Stacks. Yeah, that was 3 Stacks. That was 3 Stacks verse from Elevators. It always stood out for me in real life, because of there was the man walked up to him. We all know the verse. You heard the song. The man walked up to him and he was like, "Hey, you Andre 3 Stacks, you a rapper. You paid." And he's like, "Hey, man, if you don't move your feet, then I don't eat." And we like neck to neck,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And we done came a long way, like them slim ass cigarettes from Virginia. But you can you know the verse for yourself. But my technical issues come from I live in New York. We all are out. E. Wells is in Delaware. Doc is in Texas and Dallas. James, where you at?
I'm in St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis, and I'm in New York. So
Kansas and Philly.
So we all spread out. But me personally, we had a storm like a couple of weeks ago. So they've been playing around with the electricity and the internet up here for like 2 weeks, trying to fix everybody. Because from what I understand, there's still people who don't have power, and it's still kind of in and out. So that's why my internet been cutting in and out, and I hate it because it cut me off in the middle of a 3 Stacks rendition.
That's all right.
That's blasphemy right there.
That's blasphemy, Like it looked like my screen just went like cut everything.
Yeah, you were calling hey, whatever you about to say about to be epic, and it was just
I know.
Right.
So here we go. So here we go right here.
It happens. So, go ahead.
Nah, you're on the spot. Your best 3 Stacks verse right now.
My best 3 Stacks.
Come on.
Oh, that one is my best 3 Stacks verse.
I want to hear the whole thing, man.
I got stopped at the mall the other day.
Come on.
Hey, heard a call from the other way. that I just come from. Some nigga was saying something, talking about smoke some. Hey man, you remember me from school?
What did he say? Was he talking about something or was he talking about something?
Oh,
oh, I love it.
Hey, talking about smoke some. Hey man, you remember me from school? No, not really. But he kept smiling like a clown, facial expression looking silly, and he kept asking me, what kind of car you drive? I know you paid. I know y'all got buku of hoes from all them songs that y'all done made. And I replied that I've been going through the same things that he had. True, I got more fans than the average man, but not enough loot to last me to the end of the week.
I live by the beat. Like you
I live by the beat. Like you live check to check. If you don't move your feet, then I don't eat. So we like neck to neck. Yes, we done came a long way like them slim ass cigarettes from Virginia. This ain't gonna stop. So we just gonna continue. Me and you, your mama and your cousin too. Rolling down the strip on Vogue. Coming up, slamming Cadillac doors.
Hey, the truth that they have revealed through all of those albums, but man, I'm talking.
Hey, let me tell you something, man.
Podcast put it out there, brother.
One thing I've learned about '90s hip hop, even '90s rap, because even the gangster rap, the rap, the '90s was our era of truth.
Yeah, it was genuine.
It was very genuine. What's crazy is, obviously everybody's probably, seen or heard about the No Limit documentary and just learning the truths about how that story. And me and my wife, we sat down and we watched the first episode of the Rough Riders, and I knew Rough Riders, stop, drop, shut down, open up shop. That was an anthem because at that time I was maybe 12 years old and I worked for the basketball team at TU. I was the ball boy. But that was the song that, they played that album every single game night. Stop, drop, shut them down, open up shop. That was going to be played before they came out the tunnel. And, as a 12-year-old with all these college age dudes, I'm in there like, oh, this is hype. And so that was my introduction to DMX, and then watching the documentary and finding out that DMX was like a real hip hop rapper in the 80s. I was like, oh, like you could have never.
A lot of these guys, man,
could have never told me Earl Simmons, DMX, was out here, rapping versus DMX rapping.
I would submit that even in the '90s, if you listen to It's Dark and Hell Is Hot, you'll see he was around. It was still hip hop then. Now when we talk about the hits that really sort of
the Rough Riders
and really hit it, you know what I'm saying? Those were more gritty. But man, if you ask any MC out there, they're still even calling themselves hip hop and talking about the hood, certainly in New York. Man. And if they can't give props to DMX in terms of the way that he brought it, I'm sure I would be surprised if they get props at all from anybody else, because it's like, well, I mean,
they definitely pull them in, Doc.
Shout out to Versus, man. Because Versus is one of those platforms that's really putting people onto it like that. A lot of people, may or may not like it or whatever because they think it's a competition. But the originators of it and the creators of it have always stated that it was never to be a competition. It was literally to be a celebration. And with DMX and Snoop Dogg, we saw it. It was literally two black men who showed each other so much love.
Right.
Even it was horrible. It was horrible.
Hey, but look, DJ. DJ.
No.
But DJ.
The whole thing.
But DJ, you gotta remember, you getting multiple washed niggas in one room to do something that they're not getting paid for. That's number one.
Listen, bro.
DJ.
We're doing that right now.
DJ, hold on. Hey, Doc, how many times has DJ fallen asleep on the podcast?
One. After taking medicine.
What's up, Princeton?
Okay, yeah, you fell asleep. You fell asleep one time and you woke back up. But let me tell you,
awesome.
But I took medicine.
Fault,
and I told y'all.
Hey, look, DJ. Even if you didn't take medicine, you could have had a great time and still fell asleep.
but I didn't. We got to talk about what is. No, talking about what is. I was sick, and I took medicine. I said, hey, I need to talk early. Y'all motherfuckers got on there.
Jay wants us to acknowledge his overcoming adversity.
No, y'all took off. And it was great. When I listened to it, I was...
DJ want us to... Hey, DJ listened to it was like, hey, y'all did a good job without me.
I was like, this is great. Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you right
DJ
now.
put up a solid 5 minutes, man. Hey, DJ, look, we was in the playoffs and DJ was like, look, I broke my back and my ankle is sprained.
Wait, don't forget my neck.
Hey, and my neck is sore.
I still showed up.
Hey, DJ
still strong 5 minutes, man.
Hey, DJ gave us 5 minutes and 10 points and sat down on the bench. Matter of fact, he didn't go to the bench. DJ went to the locker room.
The 2 assists and the 4 rebounds.
Yes, he did.
This is
low management.
Yes, he did.
That was low management.
I had a broken back, man.
This is an awesome thing about being able to see each other right now is because then we can know. I'd be like, oh, he sleep. And then it's not even,
Hey,
we got to get it then.
Doc brought up a good point because it took a minute for us to realize
like,
that,
oh, in my hand of the DJ, I was like, yeah, well, no. And so as I was saying before.
Well, that was one of those.
DJ sleep. Hey, wait.
That was one of those.
Is that him snoring? Yeah, well, DJ sleep, man. Let me mute this nigga, man. This nigga snort.
First of all, I appreciate y'all cutting that out, but Dallas had woke up. Dallas woke up at like 1 o'clock that morning. And so just so you guys know, we usually we start recording at like 10:30 Eastern. So we do the hour, we're already at 11:30. Then we do the debrief and we do the after show. So we're ending at 2. It's like 1 o'clock. Dallas wakes up. And we started late that night. So I'm like, oh, let me go get Dallas and calm him down. I'm trying to put Dallas to sleep. Me and Dallas are asleep. And I've already taken medicine. And I've said it before we got on. I'm like, look, fellas. I'm like, look, man, I took, they were like, what you drinking tonight? I was like, I can't drink. I took some significant medicine. Like, if I'm going to drink tonight, I'm going to the hospital. Like, I would not like to go there. And so they were like, oh, it's cool, man. We can do this in our sleep. And I'm like, nah, yeah, I think the conversation, it was a significant conversation that we had like a pre-meeting on, and we had fleshed a bunch of things out, and I was so ready to have it. Man, I was super sick. And I was like, I got to do this call. But when he woke up, my wife had a migraine, and I got a text from my wife, and she was like, yo, I got this migraine. And her migraines require shots from the hospital. And so anything I could do, Arthur, what are you doing?
He's folding the green screen.
Okay, you know what?
I freaking love this, though. I'm like, I need a green screen like his. It's very portable.
Yeah, but yeah, man, I had to swoop in on that. But man, at the end of the day, that's neither here nor there. Y'all motherfuckers talking. Y'all motherfuckers talking shit because y'all know what was going on in that situation. I'm gonna address this situation about what matters. When we think about the wealth building process and what it means to a family, I can't understate how much it matters for my wife and I to be on the same page around how money matters, right? Yeah. So we both are fortunate to have, a decent income from corporate, but we're also both fortunate enough to have a really strong income from personal businesses. Mm-hmm. That's not the normal case, right? And so our goal is to replace the personal, replace corporate income with personal, and ultimately get to that position where you were talking about, where you can decide if you go into work. Now, for me, I enjoy working with folks like James and learning from them and others. So I think that I will go into work until it's not beneficial. And as long as work is making it beneficial for me, I'm happy to show up. But when there's a law of diminishing returns, I'm not. And that's just the truth, you know. So, you know, and I'm honest about that with my firm. Yeah. Most people would not be, but I am honest. And James has known me. This has been a conversation that we have had around, hey, where do we go from here? Like, how do we make our families independent or not? I won't even say independent, not codependent on corporate. So we have to have something for ourselves, right? So we have to be able to maintain the basic necessities. And I even talked to Parker about this, which is Ken. But at the end of the day, I'm saying all this to say the following. Jokes aside, we are at a precipice where we have to make a decision. Are you going to invest in your financial future independently of anyone else that's going to, quote unquote, help you?
Right.
It is now time to help ourselves. What are we going to do that? Because if you're not going to do that, regardless of your other activities, you're going to lag behind and continue to lag behind the majority or the wealthy majority. You have to be willing to help yourself. And what the wealthy majority do is they set up principles in place that says, whether this person wants to or not, we're taking a portion of their income or their money to invest in them, and therefore they're going to be financially solvent. So either we're gonna do that for our children or we're not. Yep. So there are a ton of ways that we can do that, which we don't have to go into tonight. Yeah. I mean, we talked about this in the prep. Your kids can be 1099 at a certain rate. We don't have to flow through that, but we can. There are ways, tax advantage ways to do this.
More than one way to skin a cat, man.
My deal is black folks can learn anything. We have survived everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
accept each other.
No, well,
accept each other.
We've even done that though. Here we still are, right? Here we still are. We have not destroyed one another. We have allowed certain elements to get out of control at times, right? But we are not a self-destructive group. We're a group that's actually advancing in education, advancing in income, advancing in business ownership, advancing in all of the things that make us better. Now, that doesn't mean we're perfect, and that doesn't mean we can't improve. And that doesn't mean that brothers and sisters can't all, start to do even better than we are. But we need to acknowledge the progress we've made, despite the fact that ain't nobody been trying to help us get there. If we honest, if we're honest, like everybody's been okay with us not having a damn thing, right? But we have persisted, despite all of the opposition. And I'm not saying there's been no help from anyone, but I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, we are responsible for our existence, and we have taken hold of that, and we're still here, and we're still progressing. Right. And my optimism, man, people like, man, you talk about all this stuff in all these optimistic terms, because I know what we can do. I know that we can handle this. I know that once we start to get a hold of what makes us financially successful, we're going to be able to hack it. Man, that's what we do. We see issues, and then we find opportunities, and then we go ahead and we seize on them. I am the first. I got my PhD in 2010. I'm the first black PhD in financial planning. My dad, who was a financial advisor, started advising in like the late 80s, like 1987, 88. He's one of a few black folks in the city of Chicago that were financial advisors at that time, and still one of the few financial advisors that are advising in the city of Chicago now. I agree. There's room for improvement. I'm just saying we will always try to get mixed up in the things that are going to get us ahead. The issue is there a critical mass of us? Are there enough of us to really push material change in a large enough percentage of our population, right? That's really what it comes down to. And is that the prevailing sort of notion and attitude that's out there? And that's up to people like us. We gotta push it, and we gotta make it desirable. We gotta make it attainable. We gotta make it entertaining. I gotta make it fun. Yep. If I ain't got enough buttons on my suits, I need more. I gotta, we gotta do it. Cause if we don't do it, ain't nobody gonna do it to get us in a position so we have the ingredients necessary to cook it up like only we can cook it to make it even better. But I know we can, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so that's what pushes me, you know?
Yeah. It has to be commonplace. It has to become like the norm.
Thank you.
I think, and when you see, really the youth, really, when they see that it's expected, like if it's just common that you're gonna do these things, like it's common that you're gonna have great credit. It's common that you're gonna own real estate. It's common that you're gonna have whole life insurance. It's common that you're gonna that you're gonna have a business already one from that you're a family-owned business that you're taking over, or you're starting one that you're funding with the help of your family or your community. That has to be more commonplace as opposed to pursuing, and nothing wrong with jobs, but pursuing ownership, because you can't bequeath the job. I can't give someone my job. We have to have ownership. We have to have assets, real assets, and that has to just become the norm, and it has to happen in a massive way. Sometimes it's going to be like a grassroots effort, right? But then now with technology and now with social media, it should be easy to see, like, let me show you what you can do with a $50 account. I'm just thinking about what the space that I'm in. Let me show you what you could do to get your credit score to be 800. Let me show you how you can have multiple trade lines and get or use other trade lines to increase your credit score to whatever that might be. Let me show you how to get this first piece of property with no money down and create a syndicate. Let me show you how to do those things. Let me show you how to collectively come together and pull. We talk about collective economics. Let me show you that. Let that be more commonplace than the unknown. Let that be more known amongst not even just the youth. I mean, definitely the youth, but even amongst ourselves. Like people in our peer group is like, because we see one way. We think it's just job. You might be real estate, and you hear all the negatives about that, and anything that's foreign, like foreign exchange market. You don't want to learn something new. It has to be more commonplace. So the question is, how do you make those type of avenues known? And hey. How do you make those avenues known, and then how do you get that broad, massive adoption?
Yeah, right? And we gotta push it out there. Like, it's my fault that ain't nobody that's talking about money saying Dr. Lovin and making it so that other people listen to rap are somehow listening to this. You know what I'm saying? I take that as a failing of my own. And it's like, oh, well, you doing what you're supposed to do. You're teaching in the class. You're talking to corporate people. You're trying to diversify the industry. You're doing all that. I got to make it sizzle. I got to do my part, on a number of levels, right? And y'all got to do y'all parts too. And we are, we're getting there. We're moving in that direction. But if we're honest with ourselves, we always got to be looking for opportunities to get better, to improve, to push more out there, to push wider, to do. Because if we don't do it, it's one thing, man. I've sat down thinking that somebody else would be able to do the Dr. Loving thing. You know what I'm saying? At some point, it's like, but the end of the day, no. It's just not gonna happen unless I do it. And maybe there'll be somebody down the line that'll push it further, but I got to push it my part. You know what I mean? And
So let me.
Everybody truly got to embrace the mindset of, if you want. She dropped the light. Everybody truly has to embrace the concept of, if you want change, you have to be the change that you want to see.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a point, she dropped the light. But one of the points that y'all brought up that I wanted to bring up is, we talked about earlier kind of how, you know, everybody kind of want to copy and paste, and it's like, oh, James is doing great in Forex. Let me do the same exact thing that James is doing, or Dr. Loving is, you know, doing his thing in financial planning. Let me go do the same exact thing that Dr. Loving is doing. But I think the conversation that also needs to start with us. Come here. The conversation needs to start with us as a community is, we need to figure out the ancillary industries that complement each other. Is, okay, James is deep into Forex. So what are the services and, you know, things that James needs to be successful? Maybe I'm more suited to do that than to try to copy and paste James. And that way it can kind of cut out on the, you know, because we, you know, as a community, we all see where we get saturated with the same things. We've seen it with the Susus, the Blessing Looms, group economics things, where everybody's doing it. And it's, you know, for me and my, you know, my point of view, Forex has, you know, kind of been that same thing where everybody's joining or taking part in Forex. Options is now one of those things where everybody's hopping into options now. But it's, you know, it's, everything ain't for everybody. You know, just to be honest, everything ain't for everybody, you know. So it's, you know, the conversation also needs to be geared towards, hey, you see everybody doing this thing, find out your place in that thing. Because that thing may not be for you, but there's a place in it for you. So if everybody's doing Forex, maybe now you know, your expertise is finance and accounting. Maybe now you start doing accounting for all of your people who are investing now. You know, just, I think that part of the conversation is often overlooked because everybody's trying to jump on it because of the same things that James, you mentioned earlier. It's like they see James making money off of it, so they look at it as, oh, this is get rich quick. But it's not get rich quick. This took time. This took effort. This took education. This took
no.
And so, you know, this is what James had to do to get here. So, you know, so we look at it, you know, from the outside looking, it's like, oh, James getting rich quick. But it's like, okay, no, James is doing a lot of things behind the scenes to get himself to this point. So let me reach out to James and say, James, what all did it take to get here? Oh, you had to do this and this and this. So now I find out, oh, you know, I like researching. I like doing this. So maybe now my purpose in this movement is I'm the research person. So now I'm making myself available to do the research, the part of, you know, I'm, you know, just trying to evolve the conversation beyond, you know, I see somebody doing it, let me copy that.
Right. So
I'm trying to pass down this method to everybody because it's not going to work for everybody.
So AJ, let me do this. So
it's like, okay, what are you good at? What is your skill set? We talked about skills and talent.
AJ, let me say one thing and then pass on one thing. So the first thing I would say is that I think that responsibility is incumbent upon us, right? So the people that are leading this call, we need to get to know the people on the call better to understand how to put them in positions to win. So they obviously have skill sets and an interest. The interest is the first part that's more valuable than the skill set, because what most people will tell you they're skilled at, they may not be. Mm-hmm. So that's an evaluation. So it's, hey, I'm a great trader, but I've never traded before. You're not a great trader. You're a person with ambition about trading. You know, we need to help them redefine that, but then offer and say, hey, James, you know, look, this person identified themselves as a valid and interested trader. Like, what can you do for them to come into your session?
Right.
Dr. Loving, this person said that they're great at counseling couples, and could you offer your workbook and train them on it to help them counsel couples? Hey, look, Destrian, this person said that they have, you know, 5 people around cooperative economics that they're willing to have a conversation about. I think we cover the major buckets around what we need to be doing as a community, but what we need to do is be more cohesive about it. But instead of me talking about it more, Kenneth, I don't know if you raised your hand, but I thought I saw you raise your hand. But
I feel like
at any rate, I'm
AJ's
still going to
have to unmute him now.
Yeah, he's going to have to unmute. I'm going to come to him anyway. But Kenneth, I want to come to you. What about tonight have you found valuable? And then additionally, what would you like to see be different to add additional value to your perspective, your life, and the people that you may come in contact with from your perspective?
So first of all, I think you guys have an incredible kind of breadth and knowledge, right? The experience you guys have had and the information you guys have shared just in this session, right? I haven't listened to all the podcasts, but the few that I've listened to, right, have all been incredibly valuable, right? So I really appreciate all you guys' time and all you guys' effort. Right? This has been really incredible. I think as I think about what do I do to take the next steps, and not just for me, but for the people around me, you know? So as a country, right? We, as a global community, right? We see the struggles we're going through, right? And how do we band together and make things better, for our children, right? Our biological children, the children that we've had, as well as the children we haven't had, right? The people who are grown up in this world. I think you guys have spoken to that. And I think I am incredibly excited about how those things will manifest in the future. So your question about kind of what takeaways do I have from it? I mean, I think to me, right, the possibilities in the Forex market are really incredible. The perspective on what can we do to be financially literate, financially independent, you know, financially viable in the future. How can we pass that on to our children? I think, you know, really all three of you guys have shown that to us, you know. James, when you talk to your daughter, AJ, as you interacted with your child, right? I think, it's just incredibly important. And I'm looking forward to learning how I can play a greater role with that. So I think you know, like I said, I don't have any real knowledge to share, right? I'm not a financial guy, but, I have really been excited about the information you guys have shared, and the effort you guys have gone through to really put together an incredible presentation. So
real quick, I'm about to stop the recording just for editing purposes. So we appreciate everybody for tuning into the after show. Make sure you follow us on all social media at BREADren Pod, BREADrenPod. Once again, want to thank our special guest, James Vassar. And we appreciate you all and we love you all. Good night.